My name is Jeff Wilson. By day, I invest in tech companies, and at night, I invest in sports cards. Join me on my journey to profit from the hobby we all love. Hello, sports card investors, and welcome to another episode. And today, for you, I have one trick to minimize your risk and maximize your profit. This is going to be a short but impactful episode today. And during the episode, not only am I going to give you that trick, but I'm going to give you some cards that I am buying, some recommendations on cards that I am buying that I recommend that you buy as well, that align with what I'm going to be talking about today. But before I tell you that, I want to tell you about two contests that you should be interested in and you should enter if you haven't already. The first is my contest. I've mentioned it in my last couple of episodes, and this is your last chance to enter because it closes on Friday. It closes Friday night, and the contest is to win your spot into a completely, totally free box break of Prizm First Off the Line basketball. I am giving one of these boxes away completely for free. And how you enter is you go to my website, sportscardinvestor.com, and you click on contest in the main menu bar. Again, sportscardinvestor.com, and you click on contest in the main menu bar. I also wanted to tell you about a contest that StockX is running. StockX is also giving away a box of Prizm. They're giving away a hobby box of Prizm. And the way you can enter StockX's contest is by following them on Instagram. Their Instagram tag is at StockX Trading Cards. Follow at StockX Trading Cards on Instagram. And then their most recent post where they have announced the contest, all you have to do is like the post and tag 3 of your friends in the comments. And by doing that, you will be entered into StockX's contest for a chance to win a Prizm hobby box. And of course, do not forget the fact that StockX is offering a coupon code to all of my listeners, $10 off any purchase of $50 or more on their website by using code SCIPOD. That's code SCIPOD. Okay, so now let's talk about the trick to minimize your risk and maximize your profit. Now, this trick involves investing in a particular type of player, the cards of a particular type of player. The type of player I'm talking about is the type of player who has the opportunity to see their prices go up, but they have very little opportunity to see their prices go down significantly. So they have a lot of upside, but very little downside. So who is this category of player? What is this type of player that I'm talking about? Well, first of all, I'll tell you who it's not. Who it's not are rookies or players in their first couple of years in the league. And guys, I love investing in rookies. I'm big on investing in young players in the league. The reason why I do it is because when you invest in a new rookie or when you invest in a player in their, second or third year, those players have the most upside potential. Those are the players who can go up multiple times. And a lot of my personal investing has been around that. If you've gone back and watched my previous episodes, you know that before this football season started, I was very high on Will Grier. Will Grier is the backup for the Carolina Panthers, and I said I thought Will Grier might get the chance to start sometime this season, and if he does, it could be good for his card prices. So I bought a bunch of Will Grier cards early in the year, cracked ice auto. I've got another cracked ice. I bought some game day ticket, numbered cards, autos, all those types of things before the season even started. Will Grier is now your starting quarterback of the Carolina Panthers, and I think he is going to be auditioning for the starting job next year. I expect that he probably will be the starter on the Panthers next year. If he's not, he's going to be a starter on another team soon. So that is that type of pick that I like doing, where I like investing in a young guy who has a lot of upside. Another example is Jaren Jackson. Jaren Jackson's gotten really hot recently. I've been recommending Jaren Jackson since this summer. I bought a bunch of his cards over this summer. I also bought a bunch of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander this summer. Another guy I recommended on my show this summer. Another guy who's gotten really hot recently, his cards have gone up in value quite a bit this season. This, by the way, I've showed this on one prior episode, but this is a beautiful Shai Gilgeous-Alexander card. Look at that. That is a National Treasures RPA 1 of 5. 1 of 5 National Treasures RPA. That's one of my favorite cards that I bought this year. And it's great that, I was able to hit on those guys. But that type of investing is very, very risky. For every guy who you buy who has, that type of upside, they also have a tremendous downside. And even with these guys, they've got a big downside. It's entirely possible that Will Grier could look bad when he plays the next couple of games for the Panthers. Maybe he doesn't get a starting job next season, and maybe he's out of the league in a few years and never has the opportunity to actually start. There's tremendous downside by buying Will Grier cards. Even a guy like Jaren Jackson Jr. or Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, yes, they've gotten hot recently. Yes, their cards have gone up in value a lot, but there's still a lot of risk associated with them. We don't know where their careers are going to go, and they're on pretty bad teams. They're on Memphis and Oklahoma City, and there's still downside that those guys have out in front of them. So these are not guys who are certainly sure bets by any means. And when you're investing in rookies or guys in their second or third year, you are taking a lot of risk. So it's the type of investing that I love, but it's also the type of investing that is not for those who are faint of heart and not for those who can afford not to take a lot of risk like that. So let's look at the complete other end of the spectrum. The other end of this spectrum is investing in retired players, Hall of Famers, that type of player. For example, a guy like Derek Jeter. Now, I've been buying a lot of Derek Jeter cards, so I like to diversify my sports card investments, as I recommend that you do as well. You shouldn't own all rookies, nor should you, in my opinion, own all veterans. I think it's a good idea to own a mix of different types of players. Just like if you were investing in stocks, a stockbroker would tell you, or mutual funds, for example, a stockbroker would tell you, hey, buy some that are higher risk, buy some small cap funds or some funds that, or buy some stocks and some biotech companies or, companies that are high risk, high rewards, but then also buy your very stable companies, your companies that have been on the index for a long time and your slow growth companies. Maybe buy some utilities or buy some bonds if you want to get really, really stable with what you're doing, right? And it's good to have that kind of diversified mix. I think the same is true in sports cards, but I think you should veer whatever direction you feel more comfortable with in terms of risk. Now, when you're buying veteran players, like when you're buying a Derek Jeter or other types of veterans or soon-to-be Hall of Famers or established Hall of Famers, there is less upside in these guys, right? These guys are not, a Derek Jeter card is not going to go up 4 or 5 times over the course of a season like, let's say, a Luka Doncic did, or like perhaps a Jaren Jackson Jr. or a Shai Gilgeous-Alexander may do as the season goes on. So there's less upside, but there's also a lot less risk. So what I want to tell you today, though, the trick that I want to tell you about today is the fact that there is actually a category in between, and a category that you should be really thinking about exploiting from an investment standpoint. In order to find the guys in this category, it's important, and here's the trick. When evaluating a player to buy, pay as much attention to the potential downside as you do the potential upside. This is something that most investors and collectors fail to do. Most of the time when you are investing in a card, you are thinking about upside, and you are only thinking about upside. You are thinking about, hey, I think this guy could get hot. I think this guy could be the next big thing. I think that this guy is going to do this when this happens. I really like this guy. I think this guy's got a lot of potential to go up, up, up. That's what most investors say when they're buying into sports cards. What you never hear investors say is, I don't think this guy has a lot of downside. I don't think there's a lot of potential for this guy to go down a lot. Or what happens if something really bad happens to this guy's career and he's not able to really play much anymore? What happens if he has a season-ending injury or a career-ending injury? Where does that leave him right now in terms of his long-term card value. People don't think about that nearly as much. And the trick I'm telling you about today is to spend as much time thinking about the downside as you do thinking about the upside. And if you do that, you will find your way into this middle category of card, which is guys that have very minimal downside, very minimal downside. They have already been proven. They've already accomplished great things in their career. And if they do nothing from here on out, their cards will still likely maintain their value and maybe even increase in value over time. But at the same time, this category still has a lot of upside. These are guys who if they do something else great, if they win another championship, have the potential to see their card values go up and up and up. So let's talk about who I'm talking about. Well, first of all, let me tell you who I'm not talking about. I'm not talking about a guy like Tom Brady. The reason why I'm not talking about a guy like Tom Brady is he is too established. He has won too many times. Tom Brady has won 6 Super Bowls. If he wins a 7th Super Bowl this year, it's not going to have an impact on his card prices. Tom Brady no longer has the upside. And we saw that after his last Super Bowl that he won at the beginning of this year. His card prices hardly moved at all. He no longer has the upside. He's lost his upside because he's won so many Super Bowls. Now, that doesn't mean that Tom Brady is not a good, secure long-term investment. He probably is a very secure long-term investment, but it's an investment that will go up slowly year over year. Maybe when he gets in the Hall of Fame, it will go up a little bit more, but it's still going to be a gradual climb for Tom Brady over the course of several years, just like it's going to be a gradual climb for Derek Jeter. Now, I do think you're going to see a little bit of a bump when Derek Jeter's announced that he will make the Hall of Fame, which I think happens late January. But then after that, it's probably going to be a slow climb of Derek Jeter over the next many years, not a big spike, because he doesn't have the same upside. Another NFL quarterback, though, one of Tom Brady's contemporaries, who does have the upside while also having minimal downside, is Drew Brees. Drew Brees is the perfect example of the guy I am talking about in this category of cards today. Drew Brees is the perfect example of the guy who has minimal downside, yet tremendous upside. Drew Brees is already an established quarterback. He just well established, right? He's already won a Super Bowl. He just broke the passing record, touchdown passing record this past week, the all-time touchdown passing record. Drew Brees is an established Hall of Famer. Even if he never wins another Super Bowl, even if the Saints flame out of the playoffs this year, even if he never makes it back to the playoffs again, Drew Brees' card prices are unlikely to go down very much. They're certainly never going to crash. But because Drew Brees has only won 1 Super Bowl, and that Super Bowl was 10 years ago, if Drew Brees is able to make it back to the Super Bowl again before his career is over, and potentially win the Super Bowl again before his career is over, his card prices will go up significantly, in my opinion, as a result of that happening. So Drew Brees is one of those guys I'm talking about. Minimal downside, but a lot of potential upside. That makes for, in my opinion, a really safe and savvy investment. Minimal risk, but a lot of upside potential, a lot of ability to maximize your profit. Let's talk about baseball. So in baseball, who I would not look at Justin Verlander. Justin Verlander, obviously a super well-established player, but kind of like Tom Brady, I think Justin Verlander is a little bit too established. He's won a couple of Cy Youngs, including this year. He's been on the All-Star team 8 times. He already won a World Series a couple of years ago, and of course he was back in the World Series this year. Even if the Astros win another World Series, I don't expect Justin Verlander's prices to have a massive spike. I think he's already hit a lot of the upside that he potentially has. But how about another veteran baseball pitcher who has accomplished many similar things to Justin Verlander, but actually still has a lot of upside? And that is Clayton Kershaw. Clayton Kershaw, just like Justin Verlander, has 8 All-Star Game appearances. Clayton Kershaw actually has 3 Cy Youngs to Justin Verlander's 2. But as we all know, Clayton Kershaw has never won a World Series. And Clayton Kershaw, in fact, now has this image of, failing in the playoffs, of choking in the playoffs. And so Clayton Kershaw, he is established as an amazing pitcher, truly one of the greatest pitchers of all time. If the Dodgers go to the playoffs again next year and they fall out of the playoffs, I don't think it's going to have a big negative impact on Clayton Kershaw's prices. We've already seen that story. That story's already been written a whole bunch of times. So it's not really going to matter. I don't think there is much downside at this point with Clayton Kershaw, no matter what happens for the rest of his career. But oh boy, there's upside. If Clayton Kershaw is actually somehow able to get the Dodgers into the World Series and maybe win the World Series in the next couple of seasons, Clayton Kershaw has a lot of upside. He will shed that monkey off of his back, and his card prices will go up significantly when he sheds that monkey off of his back. So he's one of those guys I'm talking about. Minimal risk, but the ability to maximize profit. Let's finally look over at basketball. Now, you might be expecting me to say that LeBron James is in the boat of Justin Verlander and Tom Brady in the fact that he doesn't have a lot of upside anymore. But not so fast. I actually think LeBron James is more in the boat of Drew Brees and Clayton Kershaw in the fact that I do think LeBron James has a lot of upside still. And the reason why is because he hasn't won a title with the Lakers. And the Lakers are the most important basketball franchise. The Lakers are the epicenter of basketball. They're the epicenter of media. They're the epicenter of Hollywood. And if he is able to bring a championship back to LA, his card prices are going to benefit from that absolutely 100%. So I think at this point in his career, LeBron James is in an interesting position of having no downside, absolutely no downside. If he never wins a title again, his card prices will continue to slowly increase over time as he wraps up his storybook Hall of Fame career. But if he wins a title with LA, there's room for his cards to continue to go up. Another basketball player who I think is in this same equation of minimal downside but a lot of potential upside is James Harden. James Harden has the ability to win a championship with the Rockets. The league is wide open this year, and the Rockets are really good. The Rockets have the opportunity to win the West and go to the championship. And if James Harden could do that, he'll get that monkey off of his back, the same way that Clayton Kershaw could get the monkey off of his back. James Harden is already one of the most prolific scorers that we have ever seen in the history of the NBA. He's already a fantastic player. People know that. His card prices are already kind of set with him being this amazing scorer, certainly a Hall of Fame career. But if Harden can get to the finals and if Harden can potentially win a championship, he's got a lot of upside. So I like Harden in that same category as minimal downside, but a lot of upside potential. So those are a few of the guys I'm thinking about. What I want to know is, who are you thinking about? Who are the guys who I haven't mentioned today who you think fall in this unique category of having very little downside at this point in their career because their career is already proven, but there's something that could still happen, a championship or an MVP or something of that nature, that could actually cause their card prices to go up quite a bit? Who are those guys with minimal downside and a lot of upside potential? Let me know in the YouTube comments for this show. I'd love to see some discussion going about this. And join my Discord chat group and my Facebook group. Absolutely free, and those are great places to talk about this type of thing. You can get the links to both on sportscardinvestor.com. And folks, don't forget to enter the two contests. You're down to your last 48 hours to enter the sportscardinvestor.com contest. Go to sportscardinvestor.com and click on contest. And follow StockX on Instagram, StockX Trading Cards on Instagram, and to get into their contest. And by the way, speaking of StockX, all of the guys I mentioned on this episode as potential guys to buy, Drew Brees, Clayton Kershaw, LeBron James, James Harden, all of their cards are for sale on StockX. Go to StockX and check them out. In fact, right before the show, I found a Drew Brees Topps Rookie PSA 10 on StockX selling for $250 as an immediate buy on StockX. I used my coupon code SCIPOD to save $10. I got it down to $240. That card sold last week on eBay for $256. I just bought it for $240 on StockX. Unfortunately, I bought the last one, so it's no longer there for you, and I'm sorry about that, but you can still go and you can still bid on StockX for in case other Drew Breeses come up on the market on StockX. And there are other variations of Drew Brees' card currently available on StockX. So again, coupon code SCIPod if you want to take advantage of that. Folks, that is all I got for you for today's episode. Hope you enjoyed. Look forward to seeing you back this weekend, Sunday, for my next episode. And also in Sunday's episode, I will be announcing the winners of my contest for the live box break. So stay tuned for that. Guys, see you for Sunday's episode. Take care.